Welcome to Train Freediving. In this video, I'm going to tell you why I personally suggest not diving with alarms for deep freediving and how you can train to make sure that you don't need to rely on them either. Now, right away, I just want to say that in my opinion, alarms can only present a short-term band-aid fix to certain problems. It's also my opinion that in the long run, using alarms on a regular basis or as a way to make sure that you're doing your dives correctly can only present more problems than they can solve. Now, there are two main reasons for this. The first reason is that alarms can present potential reliability issues. Obviously, if your alarms are working as intended, they can tell you exactly when to do things like take your mouth fill, start your free fall, top up your mouth fill, or even prepare to turn at the bottom. However, in the instances where they don't work correctly, if, for example, your battery is running low, if you make a mistake when you're setting it, or if you simply don't hear the alarm, it can completely scrap your dive. You won't do things correctly, this will cause stress, and the stress is going to either cause an early turn or increased chance of having problems with hypoxia at the end of your dive. So while an alarm can tell you what to do and when to do it, if for whatever reason the alarm doesn't work, this basically means a completely scrapped dive. The second issue has to do more with the overall feeling and overall quality of your diving. In my opinion, diving with alarms requires way too much focus. You need to focus on listening to your alarms, counting your alarms to make sure that you're doing the right thing according to which alarm you've just heard. And you need to have a fast reaction time to make sure that you're doing the thing quick enough after the alarm to make sure that you're ready for the next one to do the next thing. Diving with alarms requires a lot of focus, it requires fast reaction time, and this type of stuff impedes your overall relaxation. Now, if we can get away from this and start diving without alarms, instead of relying on focus, we can start to build and rely on awareness. If we train correctly, if we practice the stuff in the right way, we can build our awareness, start to do things by feeling when we're doing all the things we need to do, mouthfill, top-ups, free fall, and prepare for depth by feeling with our awareness. This is what's going to allow for maximum relaxation. Hopefully I've convinced you that turning off your alarms is going to be beneficial for your diving, especially in the long run. Now I'm going to bring you a little bit closer to show you an example on the board for how you can approach training the right way to remove your dependency on alarms, maximize your awareness, maximize your automation, and dive in the most automatic, relaxed, and alarm-free way possible. For this example, we're going to consider a diver who currently has a PB of 50 meters, and they're training for a natural and reliable progression up to, let's say, 55 to 60 meters. Now, this diver has decided that in order to progress to get to 55 or 60, they're going to need to take a mouthfill at 20 meters, and they want to start their free fall at 25 meters. These two processes, mouthfill and free fall, are the two main ones that divers use alarms for, and since we know exactly which depth we want to do them at, then we can use that information to create what's called drilling depths. Now, in my opinion, a drilling depth is the minimum depth required to practice a specific skill. Now, in this case, to drill our mouthfill, we can set a line at 20 meters and then dive for around 8 repetitions to 20 meters, practicing taking our mouthfill shallow, 10 or 15, and then topping it up until we reach the bottom. We can do the exact same thing with a line at 25 meters, practicing finning from the surface and gradually reducing the efforts we're requiring for finning until we completely stop at the bottom. Now, both of these exercises, done for 6 to 8 repetitions, is what we would consider a drill, and it's going to build the awareness of making sure that we're doing both of these things at the correct depths every single time. Now, once you can do this every single time, you have 100% success rate over an entire session for at least 2 sessions in a row. Then we can move from drilling depths to training depths. Now, training depth is going to be a level appropriate depth that allows the diver to use the technique that they drilled on more level appropriate dives. So in this case, a 50-meter diver would start with 30 meters for 4 to 5 repetitions, and then when they can do everything correctly 100% of the time for at least 2 sessions in a row, then they can move to doing 3 to 4 repetitions of 35. Again, once everything is done with 100% consistency for at least 2 sessions in a row, then they can move to doing 2 repetitions of 40 meters. Once all of this is done with 100% consistency for at least 2 sessions in a row, then it's safe to assume that they have 100% built all of the awareness that they need to progress to PB dives. So hopefully at this point you're relatively convinced that not using alarms is going to be more beneficial than actually using alarms, and hopefully you understand the concept of drilling depth versus training depth versus PB depth, and then how you can use those 3 different types of diving to progress with consistency and reliability from shallow drills to medium depth training all the way up to maximum depth personal bests. Once you get that done correctly, you're going to have the most relaxed, most enjoyable, and most reliable deep freediving possible.